Hi, I'm Veronica Vance. Coming up, we give you a great idea for a fun weekend getaway. Take a look at the D's Easy In, Easy Out Airport, and then we get inspired at the Museum of African American History, so stay tuned.
Production funding for this program was made possible by the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau, driving tourism growth in Metro Detroit since 1896. More information is available at visitdetroit.com.
Right here in the D. You get all this when you check in for a night at the Best Western Sterling Inn, and it's right here in Sterling Heights. Get your own towels, cool off in the steamy room before you jump in the water. Need a life jacket? They provide those too. Grab your own inner tube, you're off for the lazy river. They got a concession stand. You can get pizza, fries, nachos. They got candy, cotton candy for the little ones, and they have drinks for the big ones. They even have alcohol for the adult hot tub. I'm really excited to be at this indoor water park. I mean, the people here are having a lot of fun, and one thing I've noticed is not overrun with people.
No.
So it's almost like a hotel pool on steroids. I mean, you're it's pumped up. You got all these great water features.
And the best part is it's located right in your backyard. Yeah. You can literally get in the car, come right over here, book a room with us, and then come down here with your entire family. We have plenty to do for all ages. It's a perfect getaway. It's a perfect oasis.
You mentioned a point, book a room, because so it's not real. Is this pretty average of the crowd?
Yes.
This is pretty average.
Which is for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
it is like during the day right now. So later on, once all the guests check in, it can get a little bit busier, but it's never completely overrun.
And you don't have to worry about lines. And I mean, it's perfect, but you're also not then open to the public just to come in so that you don't, it's again, you're getting it to yourself in a way.
Exactly.
Because you have to be a hotel guest here, right?
Yep, and that's why we do it. That's why we don't keep it open to the public.
I love that idea.
Yep.
I mean, it is. It's like this little oasis right here in Sterling Heights. I love that idea. So check-in time is at like 3 o'clock?
3 p.m., yeah.
Okay.
Checkout time is at 11 the next morning. But the nice thing is that you actually have access to the indoor water park, the arcade, all of it, until 2 p.m. We have beautiful girls and boys locker rooms. So your guests, they can go right in there, they can change. They can come back, enjoy the water park at 2 o'clock. They can go, change again, and then go right to their cars and go home.
All right, so toddlers, you mentioned, this is nice. It's the zero depth.
Yeah.
You know, this is what, just a couple feet in this area here?
Yep. And the deepest that it gets is a little over 5 feet. So it never gets horribly deep where you're really concerned, you know, about your child's safety again. The lifeguards are amazing.
Yes, and I see it's filled with lifeguards. So here you got a nice lazy river.
Yep.
And what's the middle part? Just like a little whirlpool?
The middle part is called a vortex. So it's like a whirlpool.
That's like the swimming pool. That's a 5-foot depth over there where you can just kind of go and have some fun.
Yeah, just a little over 5 feet. So it's not too deep.
And of course, you come to the creme de la creme.
Of course, the creme de la creme, our giant water slide.
It's big and curvy. I mean, it's big.
One day I'll get on there.
Yeah, one day.
One day.
You know what else is really great about this is a lot of water parks I've been to have the cover, and I'm going to tell you, it's claustrophobic feeling. This is nice and open, and it's just, what a great place to come and cool off in here because
it's warm.
Yeah, it is warm. So what is the water temperature? Is it pretty refreshing?
It's about 75 to 80.
Okay.
So it's almost like bath water. Obviously when you're in here in all these clothes, it's a lot warm, but when you're in here in, you know, swimsuits, it's just perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
And then you got this whole other room.
This is our interactive toddler area. It's like 16 inches of water or something. It's super shallow, and it's just for like your 2, 3-year-olds. They can walk in, and they have all these interactive water features for them.
You even got a TV going with cartoons in here.
Yes, and
really
we'll do movie nights and whatnot in here too every once in a while.
So you're always going to have a table to grab a pizza.
Exactly. And then when you do have big groups or large families that come, you can just push a bunch of tables and chairs together and keep your group together.
Which brings up another really good point, is that, you know, it's not only a great little weekend getaway if you've got young kids, but if you're doing a family reunion or
Exactly.
anything, I mean, why pick just a regular hotel when you can come here and
Right.
have all of this instead of just your regular pool?
And for the family reunions, it's really amazing because they don't have to pick another activity for their family to do.
Right.
Because
This
they'll
could be
plan
the
a picnic
activity.
one day, they'll plan a dinner another night with
Yeah.
us, and then they have one day where they're like, okay, everybody's gonna be down at the water park. So it's perfect. It keeps everybody together.
It is perfect. And we know we walked past. You've also got 2 hot tubs out there. Can
Yep.
you take a peek at those?
Yeah.
All right. So this is hot tub number 1 of
Yes.
2, right?
Yes.
And what's the difference?
We have 2 of them. We keep this one over here for the kids at a lower temperature. So that way they're allowed to all come in here. And then we do have another one in the corner over there for adults only. So they have a kind of a little secluded area for themselves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so to take a little break from the video,
Yes.
you've got this whole arcade up here. This is big.
And it's so fun. And there's even some of the older games and stuff like that, so some of your parents and stuff can enjoy, like the old school Chicago Bulls basketball game.
Oh.
And then everything runs on tokens. So you put dollars into the machine, it gives
Yeah.
you tokens, you go ahead and play, and then you do get the tickets at the end that you can redeem for prizes.
Oh, yeah, I know all about that. That's
Like the
fun.
Dave and
yeah.
Buster's type.
Yeah. Well, Kasha, I want to say thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Yeah,
I'm so
let's
happy you're able to come out.
Put your suit on and go cool off, right? Wow, look at all the tickets she won. She's going to get a good prize for all those tickets. Good job. How you guys liking the lazy river? You came from up here from out of town, right?
Yeah,
You're
from Northwest Ohio.
From Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And you came just from here or just like,
My dad and his wife are having their 20th wedding anniversary, and so they thought a good family place to be because they have lots of grandkids.
Yeah.
And now they've got great grandkids. So I said that would be perfect. A water park would be perfect
So if
with a
you're going to
hotel.
pick a hotel, this is a good place
This
to
was a
pick
good
because-
place to go.
And you've
Yeah.
got, you said you got a teenager over on the big
Right,
side, a
right,
toddler over
right,
here. How
yep.
much fun? It's perfect.
Yeah, they're having a great time.
Yeah. Woo! Now, how's the slide?
It'll take you. It's fast. I love it. They don't even do this fast. Hold on. Man. Oh, we just come here a lot for birthdays and
Yep.
stuff like that.
And the lady sitting up there, I don't know her name, but she knows me by name. So.
She knows you by name. You come
That's
here
how much
so
I
much.
come here, yes, yes.
No, it's nice. It's sweet.
I love it, yeah.
It's close, you know, the biggest,
Close,
best thing.
it's convenient, and because of Michigan weather, this is perfect. So.
I love their slides. You love their slides. You love everything. You're just a little water bug. So when you check in for a night at the Best Western Sterling Inn, you get a whole bunch of just right. The crowd size, the size of the water park, the water temperature, and it's all right here in the D. We're getting a bird's eye view of Detroit Metro Airport. We're going to tour the McNamara Terminal, which is Delta Airlines' second largest terminal. And then we're going to tour the newest of the new, the North Terminal. Well, Scott, I guess one of the newest changes of the McNamara Terminal is that it's now Delta.
It is, in fact. Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest news items right now at the airport is the merger between Northwest and Delta, which was completed a while ago now. And they've certainly put their actions behind their words in terms of making Detroit central to their network. We're the second largest hub, second only to Atlanta, and Delta now being the world's largest airline. That's a huge deal for Detroit. And Delta's already begun the process of turning Detroit into its primary Trans-Pacific gateways, as well as new service to Hong Kong and Seoul, Korea.
Like nonstop flights.
Non-stop from Detroit, yep.
Wow.
We also have seasonal service to Rome, which is something that was new since the merger. The airport functions not just to serve Detroit travelers, but also as a hub for travelers from around the world to connect to where they need to go. So if this looks familiar to you at all, where we're standing is where George Clooney stood for the poster shot for Up in the Air.
Yeah.
It's one of
Right
many.
here? Cool.
Right here, yeah. So you can say you hung out where George Clooney hung out. The airport's been a huge location for film and television since the film incentives came through for Michigan, making us the most incentivized state to do business in for the film and television industry. So.
Right. So we still got the tram going.
Yep, absolutely. This is the second longest airport terminal concourse in the world, second only to Osaka, Japan.
Really?
Yep. It's just almost exactly a mile from tip to tip.
Well, front row.
It is, yeah. And it's a fun ride.
How long does it take end to end?
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, so you're going a mile in 2 minutes, which is great, especially if you got a tight connection from one end to the other. As much as some people love to walk and visit the shops and restaurants, this is definitely a faster way to go.
Yeah. So these are convenient if you don't need to take the tram all the way to the end.
Yep, we have moving walkways the entire length of the terminal, and even if you don't want to take the tram, but if you just want to take a more leisurely stroll, we've got over 90 shops and restaurants in this building. So
90.
there's plenty you're missing when you take the tram. I'll tell you that. So
yeah, going along here you get kind of a nice view of. And then hotels coming up, the Westin.
The Westin Hotel, yep, and so it's got its own dedicated security checkpoint with an entrance right into the concourse. So yeah, so the convenience is really second to none.
So a quick little iced coffee break.
Yeah.
Now this is one of your favorite places
This
out
is.
west that has moved just.
It's the first one east of the Mississippi. It's the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. We have two of them here at the airport. And aside from their fantastic coffee, one of the things I love too is the condiment bar, if you will, here, where they've just got just about everything you could possibly imagine to put on top of your coffee.
Wow, look at that. Ooh, chopped candy canes. I'm gonna try that. Yum. Oh, I'm glad we stopped here. Oh, this is good. Feels like there's electricity in the air. There's so much activity going on here.
It is. It's a busy. Well, we have about 100,000 people who come through this terminal every day. So when you think about it, in a year, we'll do more than 3 times the population of the entire state that comes through the airport. So I mean, it's a lot of people. I mean, it's not many communities that have so much nonstop service, not only within the country and to the Caribbean, Mexico, and Canada, but to points all over the world, on continents ranging as far as the Far East and Asia, nonstop service to the Middle East, and of course lots to Europe.
So this is the space-age tunnel that leads to the rest of the airport?
I've heard it called a lot of different things. This is actually a piece of art that was commissioned that really makes the passage underneath the runway here an otherwise pretty boring walk pretty exciting.
It feels map-ish, like you're traveling the world in a, I don't know.
It's open for interpretation like most art, I suppose. And really, I've heard a lot of different ways for it to be described, and it's a slightly different show pretty much every time somebody comes through.
And then, of course, the gorgeous lobby of the Westin,
yes.
right?
Another very unique asset of the airport here is the 4-star Westin Hotel. It's a 410-room property, and it is right attached to the Concourse A at the McNamara Terminal. We even have our own security checkpoint dedicated to the Westin, so guests can come right out of their room, come right past the front desk checkout, and be right in the concourse.
Bypass the lines.
Bypass the lines.
So then you call this the newest of the new.
This is the newest of the new. This is our North Terminal. It opened in the fall of 2008. So hard to believe that this is the new of 2, but really the entire airport is new. This is just the newest piece of it. The North Terminal is home to 10 different airlines, including some international airlines as well. So everyone other than Delta and their SkyTeam partners is here in the North Terminal.
So now we're actually inside the concourse of the North Terminal, and
Yep.
it's got a very youthful feel. I mean, that's the first thing that hits me. The lights are kind of funky, the bright colors.
It's to keep the idea of the area being bright and airy.
So this concourse has restaurants and shops as well.
Yep, we've got about 30 of them. You have your choice of both local and national concepts here. We actually have the first ever retail outlet for Sports Illustrated. This is the only one that existed when it opened. And then Gale's Chocolates, which should look familiar to folks from the northwest suburbs. Royal Oak, yeah, but same Gale.
Well, it's a beautiful facade here.
It is, yeah. Well, Ruby Tuesday, this is it's a national chain, of course, but this is their first airport location ever. And our first salad bar. Actually, the Detroit Metro Airport was named the healthiest airport in North America by the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine.
We were?
We were, in fact. So
wow, I didn't know that. So Scott, where's the train in this terminal?
Unfortunately, there's no train in this terminal, but this terminal is only about a half mile from tip to tip.
Oh,
so the
okay.
longest you'd ever have to walk here, even if you came into the farthest gate on one end or the other, it's less than a quarter of a mile. We also have 2 sets of these moving walkways here on either end of the terminal, so that you're really not walking very far at all.
So this is really nice architecture down here.
Yeah, a lot of natural light.
And so this is a food court. You just can grab your food.
This is the south end, and then again at the north end we do have these open and airy food court areas. The architect who designed this building calls this the funky younger brother to the McNamara Terminal.
I can see that.
It's got more of that urban industrial loft
Right.
feel. A lot of emphasis on bright colors
Yeah.
in this terminal.
Very inviting. Well, I want to thank you, Scott, for
My
taking the
pleasure.
time. We've had a great tour of the airport. And as you can see, Detroit Metro Airport is making the world available by making travel more convenient and easier than ever. There are plenty of things to see and do in Metro Detroit this month, and our calendar of events is up next to point you in the right direction. The campy comedy Evil Dead the Musical is at City Theater, and Trenton welcomes fall with the Scarecrow Festival. Take the creepy tour of Detroit on board a Segway, then get enlightened at the Awake and Empowered Expo. Dress up for Greenfield Village's turn-of-the-century Halloween and the Detroit Zoo's family-friendly Zoo Boo. Disney on Ice celebrates 100 years of magic, and the Glass Academy handcrafts glass-blown pumpkins. Opera season opens with the stormy saga of the Flying Dutchman, and downtown Plymouth hosts Pumpkin Palooza. Run an underwater mile during the Free Press Marathon, then head to Eastern Market for the Fall Beer Festival. Help solve the mystery at the DSO's Halloween party, then experience celebrity chef Alton Brown's quirky sense of humor. To learn of any changes, log on to visitdetroit.com or call 1-800-DETROIT. I'm at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, which is the world's largest institution dedicated to the African American experience. And when you come in up the steps, you're greeted by this magnificent rotunda behind me, which creates this really unique acoustic echoey sound. From there, you go on up the steps to their permanent exhibit, And Still We Rise, which is a journey through the African American experience of culture and history that spans all the way from the slave trade days on through the current 21st century. They also have an extremely large temporary exhibit that rotates throughout the year, probably about 3 or 4 different per year. But we are here to see their latest permanent exhibit, Inspiring Minds, which challenges everyone to come up with their own great invention.
It really is for all ages.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of things in here for small children that we don't have in other areas of the museum. We have a lot of things that you can touch, which is awesome because in a history museum, there's often not a lot of things you can touch and engage with. And so the space is really designed to learn history, to learn science, but also to engage and play. The highlight of the exhibition space is the multimedia touch wall. What we're looking at here is the African American timeline, and there are 2 components to the timeline. The first one is the top bar, which gives some facts about African American history through the years, and so this is what's happening in 1968.
Right.
It's designed to give some context because the stars are actually about specific African American scientists and inventors.
Oh.
And so the idea is that when you're learning about the scientists and inventors, and you don't know what was happening in 1967, you can look at the timeline at the top to get some kind of context about what was going on in American history and world history that was important. And so we can go from the African American timeline to another content area on marine life.
Wow.
And the bubbles are all touchable.
Oh,
And so
neat.
when a child comes up and they touch one of the bubbles, you get a fact about the ocean. It might be about the ancient ocean. It might be about the ocean now. And within each of the bubbles, there's actually an activity that a child can do. So this is a puzzle. Some of them are quiz questions. Some of them are matching up, you know, a fish or something that is in the ocean.
So Jennifer, I would also think this would be really good for school groups to come in and utilize this space.
It is. We have a lot of school groups that come in, and when they get here, we have an educator that's in the space that shows them how the room operates, and then they go and do a workshop that
Kind of gets their creative juices flowing.
yeah, it kind of hits at another angle. So they get to do something with their hands, they get to create something, express themselves in a way. And so we actually have a lot of different workshops that a school can pick from.
What do you think about this whole big screen thing here?
I think it's good because we get to like learn about the stuff that we really didn't know. So I learned about I didn't even know who this was. So I'm just reading it and I'm finding out who this is.
And is it inspiring you to want to do something inventive?
Yes.
All right, high five to that.
This vignette's on African Americans in aviation. And so here we have a NASA spacesuit, which is very popular amongst young kids. They like to see pictures in front of it. And so this vignette focuses on from the beginning of African Americans flying planes, all the way up into them being a part of NASA.
A lot of cool things in there, but the spacesuit is definitely one of the most impressive.
Yeah. It's like a picture perfect moment.
Yeah.
You get your dad over here snapping shots.
Yeah.
And then this big, bright, bold wall of inventors.
Yes.
How cool. What is this thing right here?
This is a gas mask designed by Garrett Morgan. It's one of the prototypes that we have at the Wright Museum, as well as the stoplight there, the traffic light.
So this is to inspire the young girls.
It is. It's to focus some on African American women in science. And so we focus on 5 different African American women that spans a large amount of time. And so there's some information in the touchscreen about the women.
What's going on in here?
This room is what we call a research room.
Okay.
And we call it the research room because of the database touchscreen, which is here. And the database touchscreen is where we have all of the scientists and inventors throughout the entire Inspiring Minds exhibition in one place. We also have a lot of science content within the space, which is on this wall and that wall. And so it's a little bit more serious.
So we've got another room here off of it, and this is, oh wow, look at a lot more interactive things in here. I bet the little kids like this area.
Absolutely. So this space really appeals to kindergarten through 3rd age grade students. And it focuses on George Washington Carver's life, but also has a focus on nutrition, eating healthy, and so we have the fake fruits and vegetables. We talk a lot about serving size.
And all the different things made from peanuts.
Absolutely, yes. And we tend to think of only peanut butter, but there's a lot of things that George Washington Carver did with peanuts and soybeans and sweet potatoes. This is our contemporary scientist kiosk. So we can touchscreen. When you start it, there's an intro video. And this is where we highlight some of the scientists that are currently working in science, in technology, engineering, and math.
Well, hey Jennifer, thank you so much. I'm going to take a
Thank
look around at some of these other
you.
vignettes that we didn't get to touch on.
Absolutely, and make sure that you leave a remark at the video recording station. We always watch those. It's very exciting getting feedback from people about the Wright Museum in general and Inspiring Minds.
I'll make
So
my
thank
way
you very
there.
much.
All right, thanks Jennifer. Okay, let's take a peek behind the door of Dr. Ben Carson. Now, he's actually from Detroit. He's now a neurosurgeon at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, who's one of the history makers. Well, there's so many little neat nooks and crannies if you look around. Like here, they've got the plasma globe. These are so much fun. So a third feature of these screens is the A is for Africa exhibit, where they have these different letter blocks coming up, and again, some more information. This kind of ties in with the whole Africa, the exhibit we've got around the lower rotunda. They've got blocks, things to do big puzzles. They also have this cozy, snuggly reading corner. You can grab a kid's book from up there, grab a stuffed animal. Of course, I don't have my kids with me, but how much fun. You can cuddle up here on the pillows and read a good book. So back in this little corner alcove, you can come back here and make a video to share your thoughts on this touch screen here. You just say you want to tell us about your thing, record your video. Very cool exhibit, definitely worth coming to. Lots of great hands-on stuff for the kids to enjoy and the adults too. Let's see. I just did it. How easy is that? How fun. And then you can play back, see how you did. Oh, here we go. Very cool exhibit, definitely worth coming to. Lots of great hands-on stuff for the kids to enjoy and the adults too. I've made part of history here at the African American Museum. Well, the Inspiring Minds exhibit at the Charles A. Detroit Museum is a lot of fun, and as you've seen, there are lots of hands-on things to bring the little ones to. And if you're feeling especially challenged, all of these red blocks under here are actually pieces to a puzzle. They create this map of Africa, and I think I'm going to stick around and do it. I'll see ya, I don't know, maybe tomorrow? Let's see. Where do I begin? Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. I'm Veronica Vance. And remember, if you'd like more information on any of the places we visited, log on to visitdetroit.com. So until I see you next time, go out and explore on your own and discover the D. To learn about discounts and special offers for featured attractions, plus how to get copies of Visit Detroit magazine, click on visitdetroit.com.
Production funding for this program was made possible by the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau, driving tourism growth in Metro Detroit since 1896. More information is available at visitdetroit.com.